Hello everybody, welcome back to the channel. My name is Aditya, and if you're coming to the channel for the first time, I make videos about tech, different tools, different technologies. Try to make it as easy as possible for you to understand. And if you want to be notified about all my videos, make sure to hit the subscribe button. That's the only way you're going to be notified. Now, today's video is about something that released 6-7 days back from the time I post the video. And that's Gemini Storybook. I'm pretty sure that a lot of you know what Gemini is. You probably have been using it similar to ChatGPT or Perplexity or other tools. But this is something that's quite interesting and something I liked personally as well. Now, what can you do with this tool? You can create personalized stories, illustrated in different art forms with images, with text, and also read aloud narration. Very interesting stuff. Now, know that there are certain limitations. It can only generate a 10-page storybook, and obviously you cannot generate explicit content. You got to make sure that you are, within the bounds of what can be generated by the tool. I'm going to try and show you 2 to 3 different scenarios of what you can generate using the tool, and let's see how AI functions in this case. Now, once you come to the homepage of Gemini Storybook or Gemini, you'll find the storybook option right here. You can also, say that you want to create a story from the normal window. It'll bring you back to this as well. Once you see this, it gives you again a short description of what it can do with some examples of how you can write the prompt. You can obviously generate the prompt on your own or using other tools based on what your specific scenario is. Now, we're going to try and do 2 or 3 different styles, as I mentioned. And let's try to start off with the first one and see how it goes. So I'm going to try to paste a prompt here. Obviously, I'm not going to type the whole thing out here. I've made it simple so you don't have to wait for me and see me type 20 lines. But the first story that I want to generate is an anime style story, right? The reason I want to do that is because it's one that people love, and it's also one that can be generated quite easily. In this particular story, I'm primarily telling Gemini that there are 2 characters, and they've moved into their first home after getting married. How can they share responsibilities equally? How can they do things equally? I want this illustrated and communicated via story. Obviously, once you've put in the prompt, which is, it could be short, it could be as detailed as possible, you can click the submit button and you start generating the story. You got to wait a few minutes, so probably not a minute, but probably a few seconds for it to generate the story, maybe 30-40 seconds, and it will be generated and open up on the right side for you. Now, one of the most interesting things about this is it can read out the story, and we'll show you that as soon as the storybook is generated. uh, but I think that's one of the cool parts, right? You don't need to actually just look at it and try to read by yourself. It can actually read it for you. That's one of the great things about AI nowadays. I'm pretty sure that if you've seen some of my other videos, I'll put it in the description. You would have noticed that all these AI tools are evolving every single day, and it's able to do wonders now. So you can see that it has generated the story. In this case, you would have noticed that I did not provide a title. It's come up with its own title based on the name. It says Haru and Aiko's Cozy Home. Obviously, because I'm the one who's logged in, it's given my name as the author of the story. As I mentioned, it can have 10 pages. So you can scroll through the pages here. You can see this is the first page. It's put out that they've just been married and they just moved into their new home, so on and so forth. And then as every page goes by, you can see it points to exactly what I wanted: how to share responsibilities, how to do things together, grocery shopping, so on and so forth, right? So it's quite cool. You can see the characters also are quite anime style. You can give them more detailing as you please. And on the top here, you can also see there's a listen button. So if you click on listen, it will narrate the story to you page by page. You can listen to it in a high pitch voice or low pitch voice, right? You can also put the storybook in full screen in case you're reading it, want it to be more comfortable. If not, this is also good enough. If you prefer paper form, you can print it out, directly send it to your printer or a PDF and you know get the book. You can also share it with other people for them to read. Probably you've had some wonderful ideas to create the book and you want other people to read it. So that's how you can generate a story, right, with a very simple prompt. Now let's try to do something a little more complex. Now imagine that you want to generate a story for younger kids. Maybe you're a school teacher, maybe you take tuitions, maybe you have kids and you want to create some stories for them. So here I've put a prompt a bit more detailed, talking about what I need on each and every page. And you see, this is the structure I've tried to use. So I've said this is the title I want. This page should have this particular theme. This is what the narrative is. This is what the mood is. This is what the visuals are. And I've done that for every single page. Now let's submit this while I'm talking. Now the reason I gave the prompt a little more detail was to sort of see whether it could keep up, whether it could adhere to some of the detailing that I've put in. Now once it generates, let's see what it can do. And if you don't want to see it generating and hear me talk, you can just 2x, 5x, 10x this part, so you go straight to where it generates a storybook. Now remember one thing, that it's 10 pages long, so even if you give like 20 pages, 30 pages of information to it, it's not going to generate it. It's going to sort of stick to the theme of 10 pages and try to generate it. At times, if the content that you have put doesn't sound reasonable or within its generation limits, then it's not going to generate it. It's going to say, I apologize, I can't generate this. Sometimes maybe it's just too busy. It can also give you that error. So you see, it's creating the storybook. It creates the illustrations for every single page. And you can see that it's quite fast in creating the illustration. It's not taking too long, because it has to create like 10 different images, the detailing on them, the text to suit those images, take into consideration the the visual information that I've given as well, and come up with it. Pretty cool. Now, the kind of stories you can create for kids could include moral stories, things like kindness, honesty. That's what I've tried to do here. I've taken a theme of kindness and I'm trying to generate that. You can also generate other storybooks related to science, for example, or math, or any other subject like physics. So these are interesting things that you can try to generate. Again, I haven't tested it to the complete extent, what it can and cannot do, but this is at least the basic. So you can see this is the title I'd given. Mia the little cloud helps a friend, and the basic theme of the story is that a bird wants to sort of build a nest, and the cloud is trying to help the bird build the nest. And you can see that based on the information that I gave, I asked each and every single page to have a different visual style. It's done that. And you can also click here to turn the pages, by the way, if you want to go back or you want to go forward, similar to how you would do it in an actual book. So it's done quite a good job in creating these illustrations, as you can see, in creating these images. And I mean, it looks so peaceful as well. So I mean, good job to Gemini on that. Now the last example I'll probably show you is how you can create something using your own image, right? In this case, I'm going to try to take my own image, and I'm going to try to give it a prompt to generate a story based on my own image. Now, obviously, this story can be based on any image. It could be your own character, your own art, your own drawing, anything that you want, your family. Obviously, be mindful of what sort of images you want to provide. You may not want to provide too much of personal information. But then again, the best thing is it can try to replicate what image you have given in a different art style. And that's what um, I'm trying to do here as well. So what I've mentioned in the prompt is that I want to create an illustrated storybook, meaning that it's not going to use my image directly as is in this style. It's going to try to create an illustrated version of me. I'm not sure how good or bad it can do that. We'll find out soon enough. But the main idea behind the story is I want to use myself as an inspirational character and tell people how to be an entrepreneur through my story, right? Now, couple of mistakes that it sometimes also does, which I've noticed, is I've said use the character name as my name, but you can see here that it's tried to put its own name, which is not right. It's okay. Probably I could have been more explicit saying that, okay, use the title of the book as so and so, and then the character name as so and so. Maybe it could have done a better job there. Now, how good this illustration is of me, I think you can be the best judge of that. You can tell me whether this is more handsome or this is more handsome, right? Or this is more handsome. But jokes aside, I think you can see that it's tried to set the tone of what I wanted, because I said I want, images of me being in a cafe, in front of the computer, doing different things. And that's what it's tried to give. It said, the path is not easy, and sometimes you had to do a lot of work. People were there to help, being mentored, so on and so forth. And it's able to depict quite okay to a certain extent, whatever you provide. There could be some inconsistencies in certain images from page to page. You may notice it at times, but this is probably something that AI is getting better at. But yeah, I mean, this is what Gemini Storybook is all about. So to summarize, this particular tool, this particular new feature in Gemini allows you to generate a 10-page storybook of, anything, including a file, including you can upload a document, you can upload whatever you want to take a reference from. And you can listen to it, you can share it, you can print it out. It's something you can use in various different scenarios, right? So I hope that this little piece of information has been useful to you, and I would recommend you go and try it out as well. Show this to your folks, to your friends and family, and see what they can generate. And if there's something you want to share with me, make sure to put it in the comments. I'd love to see what all you create as stories, and give my feedback and review to it, and have a good laugh if you create something humorous. And yeah, don't forget to subscribe if you want to see more such videos about tech, about AI, and everything that comes with it. Thank you very much for watching. I'll see you in another video. Take care, and bye-bye.